Good morning, grade 3. Our lesson today, lesson 87. Open your book, page 93. Use the squares to solve the problem below. Four children want to share two square cakes so that each child gets the same amount. See how many different ways you can divide the cakes equally among the four children. First two squares have four children and two square cakes. First, two squares, letter A, divided two square cakes into four equal parts. First square divided into two equal parts like this, and divided second square into two equal parts like this. So the fraction of this part is half. This first part take one children, and second part take second children, and this part take third children, and this part take fourth children. Another two squares, letter B, divided two squares into four equal parts, each square divided into two equal parts, like this. And second square divided into two equal parts, like this. This part is half, and this first children, second children, third children, and fourth children. When we divided into two square cakes of four children, another divided into squares, letter C, another way. I can divide first square into four equal parts, like this, and divide it into second square into four equal parts, the same first square, and each part is called fourth. So one children take two fourths. This this part is called fourth. So each child take two fourths. This first share and second share, three share, four share. Letter D, divided into square cakes into four equal parts. First square divided into four equal parts. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And second square divided into four equal parts, the same first square. 1, 2, 3, 4. This part is called fourth. So each child take two fourths. This first child take two parts or two fourths, and second child and three child and four child. Okay? In letter A, N. Letter A, and letter B, each friend has half of cake. And in letter C and letter D, each friend has two fourths of cake. So is half equal to fourths? Yes or no? First, draw square divided into two equal parts like this. This part, this part is half. When we divide each part into two equal parts like this, so each part is fourth. This part fourth and this part fourth. So half equal to fourths. This half and this two halves. This part equal this part. The next page answers the following questions in the boxes blue, comparing fractions with the same denominator. Same denominator. Okay? Exercise number 1. Which fraction is greater, fourth or three fourths? Show or explain your work in the box blue and then use less than or more than to record your answer. First, write this two fractions. First fraction, quarters or fourths, and three fourths. Which is greater fraction? When we compare between two fractions, the same denominator, the one with the greater numerator is the fraction greater. First, draw the first fraction in model. Another model. Again. This one part divided into four equal parts. First, divided into two equal parts, and each part divided into equal parts, like this. First fraction, shaded of one part because the numerator is 1. And draw model, second fraction, the same first model. Divided into two equal parts and divided each part into two equal parts. And how many shaded parts? The number in numerator is 3. So shaded of three parts. 1, 2, 3. So first fraction fourth and second fraction 3/4. Which is greater? The greater fraction is 3/4 greater than fourth. So fourth less than fourth. Exercise number 2. What is your hypothesis for comparing any fractions with the same denominator? When comparing fraction with the same denominator, the one with the greater numerator is greater. Exercise number 3. Test your hypothesis. Which fraction is greater, 5/8 or 2/8? Write the two fractions, 5/8 or 2/8. Draw the model of two fractions. The change any model. For example, set. Draw 8 dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And draw another the same model. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. First fraction is in numerator is 5. We must shed it of 5 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And second fraction, the number 2 in numerator, I can shed it of 2 dots. Which is the greatest fraction? 5/8 or 2/8? This 5/8 more than 5, more than 2/8. Exercise number 4. What other fraction could you use that test your hypothesis? Use models to prove your answer and then write comparison statement with less than or more than. Write into fraction, for example, third and 2/3. Draw model divided into 3 equal parts like this. Each part is third. Represent this fraction in this model. Shaded of one part, and second fraction shaded of 2 parts because in the numerator is 2. Then which is the greatest fraction? This fraction or this fraction. The third, less than the 2/3, because this one part and the second fraction, this two parts, right? The sign. Exercise number 5, comparing fractions with the same numerator. Number 5, which fraction is greater, 2/3 or 2/4? Show or explain your work in the box blue and then use less than or more than. First, write two fractions, 2/3 and 2/4. First, draw two models represent these two fractions. First, one whole part and another one whole. Divided first one whole into three equal parts and shaded of two parts. Second fraction divided into second model into four equal parts like this. And shaded of two parts. We know that this first model, these two parts, this two parts more than this two parts. So 2/3 more than 2/4. What is your hypothesis for comparing any fraction with the same numerator? When we comparing between two fractions, the same numerator, the one with greater numerator is smaller fraction. Right answer, exercise number 6. Exercise number 7, test your hypothesis. Which fraction is greater, 3/4 or 3/8? First, write the two fractions, 3/4 or 3/8. Let's go. Drawing models represent the two fractions in this model. First fraction divided into this circle into four equal parts like this and shaded of three parts because the numerator is 3. And second model divided into 8 equal parts like this. shaded of 3 parts. 2, 3. Which is greater fraction? This of shaded part in this model and this shaded part in this model. We know that this part more than this part. So 3/4 more than 3/8. When we compare between two fractions, the same numerator, look at the denominator. The number is greater, this fraction is smaller. Okay? Smaller fraction. Number 8. What other fractions could you use to test your hypothesis? Use models to prove your answer and then write a conversion statement with less than or more than. Change any two fractions. First fraction 2 over 4 and 2 over 6. Represent these two fractions in this model. First model. Second model. Divided first model divided into 4 equal parts like this. And divided second model into 6 equal parts like this. First model shaded of 2 parts. 1 and 2, and second model divided into 6 equal parts and shaded 2 parts. We look at the first model in 2 parts and look at the next model in these 2 parts. Which is greater, this model or this fraction? This fraction or this fraction? This fraction is more than this fraction. So 2 over 4 more than 2 over 6 because the number in numerator the same number and the greatest number in denominator is smaller fraction and the number in denominator is smaller than the fraction is greater fraction. And this fraction is smaller. Okay. Next page. Reflect on your learning about comparing fractions by answering the question below. You may use numbers, words, and pictures to show your things. How do you compare fractions? First, number one, I have two fractions, the same denominator, 2 fourths and 3 fourths. Draw model to represent these two fractions. First, draw set 1, 2, 3, 4, and another model 1, 2, 3, 4. Shadow of first model in 2 dots and second model shadow of 3 dots. Which is greater, 2 dots or 3 dots? I note that 3 dots greater than 2 dots, so 2/4 less than 3/4 because the same denominator and the number in numerator is greater, then this fraction is greater fraction. Okay? Number 2, we change to any two fraction the same numerator, 2/7, 2/7 or 2/7, and 2/5. Okay? Draw two models like this. Again, divided first model into 7 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and divided this model into 5 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Select 2 parts and another model, select 2 parts. We know that this 2 parts smaller than this 2 parts. So 2/7 less than 2/5.